Today I have given you the summary of the poetry page, it's on page 100, okay, from your Flamingo textbook. Today we will be doing line by line explanation of it. Let's see. Before that, I would read the introduction given over here regarding the poet. Robert Frost, as we know, is the poet of this poem, and he is a highly acclaimed American poet of the 20th century. This I have told you when I talked about the poet. Robert Frost wrote about characters, people and landscapes. His poems are considered with human tragedies and fears. This is the theme what he is concerned about. And his reaction to the complexities of life and his ultimate acceptance of his burdens. Stopping by the woods on a snowy evening, birches, mending walls are a few of his well-known words or poems that also I had talked about. In this poem, A Roadside Stand, Frost presents the lives of poor, deprived people and with pitiless clarity and with the deepest sympathy and humanity. So this is what is talked about. Let's go line by line explanation. I do not beat around the bush because the theme, the summary, regarding the poet, all these things I have talked about in the previous lecture, that was on part 1. Now, the little old house was out with a new shade in front at the edge of the road where the traffic sped. So, these people, the villagers, had a small house. There was a house, and where was it? It was on the edge of the road. And what did these people do? They just erected or made a small shed out of that or out of the house, and it was where was this made? It was where the traffic sped. Sped means moved around. A roadside stand that too pathetically pled, it would not be fair to say for a dole of bread. And why did they make this roadside stand? Because in this roadside stand, they put some products, some produces, okay, which would help them to earn their living. But here in this line, this roadside stand too pathetically pled. Pled means request. It is shown as if this roadside stand means the people who own this roadside stand are pleading sorrowfully, critically, pitifully, requesting, pleading. Okay, whom? To the people who are passing by in big rich cars and so on. But it would not be fair to say for a dole of bread. They are requesting, they are pleading, okay? But not for dole means some portion what you have, you do it as a or give it as a in the form of a charity. Or they are not doing this, or they are not pleading for the sake of some alms or charity. So it won't be fair. It would be good enough to say so for a dole of bread. Okay, but what are they? Not for any charity. They are not begging for alms. As alms is to beg for something, but they are doing it to earn their living. But for some money, the cash whose flow supports the flower of cities from sinking and withering fade. The next two lines, it is that what are these people who are waiting over there, and what are they asking for? What are they? Saying that the villagers are anxiously waiting for some money. They have put up the stand for what? To earn their living. They have some products. What are the products? We'll go read it as we move on with the poetry. Okay, and they sell these produces, and in exchange they want some money. They have come to know how important money is in one's life. So these villagers or the village flocks are anxiously waiting for some money, and this is what that keeps the cities active, or the city people active, and prevent them from what? Prevent them from getting these things, and these people are prevented. The people means the villagers are prevented or obstructed from getting this. So they feel that this money is very important. Why? Because this money, in the next line we see what is he saying, that this money is saying money for the cash whose flow, the flow of this money, okay, is the flower of the cities from sinking and withering fame. This money give a flowery look, an elegant look to the cities and save the cities from being sunk or from being collapsed. In other words, what is he saying? That flower is very important for a plant. It helps or gives it a good look. It shows its growth, okay, and prosperity. Similarly, money also is one that shows the prosperity of one's life or prosperities of the cities. So he is saying that man, it is the flower is the glory of a plant. So is money glory and a form of sophisticacy to mankind, and that is why these villagers wish to have a share of it in the form of, which is in the form of wealth or in the form of flower to the village people. So that is what is saying, that but for some money, the cash whose flow supports the flower of cities, that is the money which is we are talking from sinking and withering fame, means protect, money protects and for the cities or the people from being damaged or being collapsed. Or the polished traffic passed with a mind ahead, or if ever aside a moment, then out of sorts, and having the landscape marred with artless pain. What is saying? The polished traffic. Okay, the polished traffic is the rich people who are moving in these cars. Okay, they are moving away without paying any heed. They are with a mind ahead. They are so mindless. They do not have any feelings for the people who are throughout the day standing on the roadside to sell the things. Okay, and so what are they doing? These people, this refers, polished word refers to the sophisticacy of these people who are moving on the cars. And so he's saying that they are unaware, or at times maybe even if they are aware, the power of money with them have brought them in such a stand that they have become insensible. Okay, and they are showing that they are unaware about the condition of this village flock. City men are rich, but at the same time they are selfish, insensitive, and they don't have time to wait for this rural flock who are waiting anxiously to get their products to be sold or bought by these cars who are speeding away through the highways. And having the landscape marred with the artless paint of signboards, N turned wrong and NS turned wrong. So, but what are they bothered about? Why are these the urban people affected, or what are they bothered about? They are not affected by the condition of this village frog, but what are they bothered about? Because as this thing, roadside stands are erected or shades are made and these people are standing on the roadside. What do these rich people feel? That the beauty or the landscape is being marred. Marred means disturbed or it's spoiled by this roadside stand which are standing on the way. It is obstructing the beauty of the nature and having the landscape marred with the artless paint. What are they saying? That even if they stop also, It's not for it's not for that they want to buy something from the village flocks, but it is because they feel that the beauty of the landscape is spoiled at the erection of this roadside stand. And at the same time, what is he saying? That the beautiful scenery is contrasted with the some handmade signboards have made kept by this people, by these village flocks, where N turn is given or S turn is given. But they are wrong because this indicates the village people are not educated, okay, and they are put in a wrong manner. So this village urban people or the city dwellers are angry with it. They are annoyed because of the rough roads, and at the same time the painted signboards, hand painted signboards and things which are kept by this village dwellers. At the same time, what is he saying? They feel that the beauty of the scene and the scenery or the beauty of the original landscape is spoiled by these villagers. So they are bugged, they are angry, and they feel that it has marred or spoiled the original beauty. In other words, they would appreciate the art, or at least these village people have tried to do something. Instead of appreciating their handmade art or scenery, what are they doing? They are annoyed, they are shouting at these people, or without paying any heed to their efforts, or not even seeing what these people are selling, and they are passing by with the speeding their own vehicles. Next we see the end of signs that we turn, N turn wrong and S turn wrong. Offered for sale wild berries in wooden pots or crook-necked golden squash with silver warts. What are they selling? It's given they are selling wild berries in wooden pots, and at the same time certain fresh squash are also there. At the same time beautiful handmade sceneries are also there, which are the things these village flocks are selling in their roadside stand. Or crook-neck golden squash with silver warts, or beauty rest in a beautiful mountain scene. What is he saying? That this is paintings of their of the mountains, or also as they have made. You have the money, but if you want to be mean, why keep your money this crossly and go alone? What is he saying? That it is said that these people have are having money. Who? The city dwellers. The city dwellers is saying that in this line the poet is trying to describe, or poet is trying to tell us that how badly the village folk are hurt. You have money. They because these people neglect them. Okay, and these village people could understand because they did not buy anything, they did not stop, or even if they stopped, they start because of their anger, they had stopped there as the beauty of the landscape is spoiled and so on. Okay, so by seeing the attitude of these city dwellers, the village flocks are very badly hurt, and they exert a pain, a sorrow, seeing the meanness of the city dwellers, and they say that how heartlessly they reject these rural people that has affected the village flock, and they are considering them as something indifferent. They are considering them as if they are aliens. So this behavior or attitude of the city dwellers have really hurt the village flocks, and that's why they are saying that you have the money, but you want to be mean. Even if you have money, you are mean, you are heartless, okay? You are selfish. Why keep your money this crossly and go along? Why you keep this money as in such a manner, you don't utilize it, you don't give us, and you just go away, pass away. The hurt to the scenery wouldn't be my complaint, so much as the trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. What is he saying in this line? It is saying that the village flocks are not complaining for being rejected. In this line, he is saying that the herd to the scenery wouldn't be to my complaint so much as the trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. He is saying that we are not hurt or we are not complaining for being rejected. That sorrow is not that much. He is saying, or our art or scenery is being rejected, our things are being rejected. We are considered as aliens by you. We are not complaining for that. But he is saying that, what is he saying? By trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. He is saying, but because their needs are ignored, they are doing something to earn their living. But these rich people, even if they have money, they are ignoring these people. That is what is their complaint. They feel that the trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. They feel that their trust have been betrayed with the hope, with that expectation. What they have set up those sheds, okay, their hope is being betrayed, their trust is being betrayed, and that is why they are full of sorrows and these things are unsaid. Here, far from the city, we make our roadside stand and ask for some city money to fill in the hand. So what is he saying? These city dwellers, what are they saying? That far from the city, far from this city life or far on this highway, we have set up our roadside stand. For what? He is saying that and ask for some city money to fill in the hand. Now these village people, they do not wish anything else. They are showing, expressing their reason why they have set up this stand. He is saying that we have not set up this stand for anything else, but for the money that you people have. The money that dwells in the city, we just want to experience it in our hand. So he is saying, here far from the city, almost leaving everything away, and far in the extreme roadside on the highway, we have set up our stand for what? For to get some money from these city people, okay? And we can experience, we can feel the money in our hand to try if it will not make our being expand. So he is saying that the roadside stand, they have some motive. The city dwellers behind erecting the roadside stand, they have some motive. And what is that motive? To have a bit of share of the money which the city dwellers have. And he is saying they don't want, with the money, they don't want to expand their business. They don't want to become rich like this city dwellers. But what is this saying? But they want to just sustain their livelihood. They want this money just to earn their living, to feed themselves and their children. And they expect a lifestyle as that of the city dwellers. They want to bring some newness, some change in their lifestyle. And that is why they are asking for money, but they are not begging. They have set up the roadside stand, they are selling their products, and in exchange they demand for some money. The next lines, what he said, that to and ask for some city money to fill in the hand to try if it will not make our being expand. They don't want to expand the business, but what forward and give us the life of the moving pictures promises. Say that they here what is saying that and give us the life of moving pictures promises. If these people are come across or have come to know that with the help of the money, he is saying that these mindless movies is here expressed, or the poet is trying to highlight the mindless movies in which life is shown full of glamour and superficiality. Here, this superficiality and the glamour of life, what we have, the glamorous life is depicted, which is only possible in movies. But these poor people are not aware of this. They are innocent people, and so the villagers feel that the promises made by saying that and give us the life of moving pictures promises. They want this money so that they get a life as they have heard is possible in pictures, but they are very innocent that the glamour and superficiality, the glamour and sophisticacy seen in the movie are all false things. And he is also saying that party in power is said to be keeping from us. They are also referring to the political parties who have come or to them for votes, and they have also promised them for a better life or for a upper graded life which are possible in movies and so on. But ultimately these are all false promises, and these things have kept these village flocks from realities and kept away from realities and prevented them from being reached. So he's saying, give us the life of moving pictures that the party in power means the politicians is said to be keeping from us. They have promised them, but in reality these promises have not been kept by the politicians. They have only made the promises for their own benefits, and these poor people have been deprived from the lifestyle of the city dwellers. It is the news that all these pitiful keen are to be brought out and mercifully gathered in. They say that these lines also refers to some news that the village people have heard. And what is the news? That the village flocks will be relocated, means these people will be given some place somewhere out of the village in the towns, and then their farms will be taken by whom? These the brokers or the rich people and so on, and in exchange they will be given accommodation in the expanding cities. So why is this necessity? He is saying it is the news that all these pitiful keen are to be brought out and mercifully gathered in to live in villages. And this, why is it that the villagers or the village flocks will be relocated? Because now the cities are expanding and the rich people or the brokers or the landlords need their farms because they want to expand the cities. And in exchange, what are the promises? That these people will be given better shelter and better accommodation. So their farms would be taken away by these people. And the poor, the next line, to live in villages next to the theatre and store. And when their farms have been taken away and cities have expanded there, where will these village people go? So he say the villagers will now have a place next to the theatres or next to some stores and shopping stores and so on, to live near the theatres. But these all things, they will get a place, that is what promises. But these are all illusions. They are, whatever is told, is saying, where they won't have to think for themselves anymore, while greedy good doers, beneficent beast of prey. So here, what is he saying? That this was an illusion. Okay? The village flock thought that they would be benefited. And so they sold off their farms, they gave it to these brokers and so on. But when the reality came to them, what did they find? These village flocks find that they were where it is. They were kept away from realities. And these poor people were not given any good places near the theatre or good accommodations, but they were just made false promises were made by these great brokers or landlords or politicians, and they were cheated by these people, where they won't have to, and say that here they have been promises that their future will be secure. They don't have to, villagers don't have to think, they don't have to bother for themselves and so on. But actually when real time came, they found, the village people found that they were cheated and they were deprived or kept away from the reality, where they won't have to think for themselves. Next line, where greedy doers, beneficent beast of prey. He is saying the villagers were tempted by these two lines, where we see that where they won't have to think of themselves anymore, while greedy doers, good doers, beneficent beast of prey. Here the villagers were tempted by these rich people, by the brokers and so on, by the false promises what they made, and the short-lived sense of security. The security, whatever they were promised, was very short-lived, and so these village people have even lost their sense of taking decisions themselves and so on. They have become puppets in the hands of these rich people, and we who are called the real benefactors, but they are not. Instead, these rich people are benefited, not the poor ones, who, making false promises, try to take over. These benefactors are who? The rich people. They have making false promises, cheating the people. They have taken over the land of these poor people. Even the government authorities or the civil authorities also have promised them to help them, okay, but they have also pretended to be benefactors, but in reality they are what? They are greedy, good exploiters who intrude in the life of the farmers. What is he doing? They are making big promises to benefit them, but lulls into false complacency. Greedy good doers, who are this? These are the estate brokers and so on. They offer or promise to do good and offering benefits, promise to offer benefits to these displaced villagers who have lost their farms and everything. But when these villagers are very innocent, they trust them and think that they cannot think of themselves anymore, and their trust is being not kept in by the rich people. And the next line we see that these greedy doers, they have benefited themselves. They are considered as the beast of prey. As an eagle always has an eye on its prey. Similarly, these greedy people, these rich people have benefited themselves, and the village people or the village flocks are treated as prey by the rich ones. Swarm over their lives, enforcing benefits. Okay, and what have they done? These greedy doers have benefited themselves. They swarm over their lives, enforcing benefits. And this is, the benefits are, they are enforced means the village people are forced to do as these rich people by making false promises. Their land has been taken, and even the power of thinking for themselves or taking decisions have also been taken away by these farmers. So the farmers have lost their land, their power of thinking and everything by these greedy benefactors, that is the rich people or the city dwellers. I conclude my part over here, part 2, and the second part will continue in our next lecture. Hope you have understood the point. Thank you for watching.